things you hear out here and the things that you go through out here and the commitment level on different levels of acting and stand-up, and you know how for some people this is a flash in the pan, and you see them 3 years later and they don't even do this no more. They're doing something completely different now because this was too hard, or this is for faggots, or you got to be gay to be in Hollywood. You know how many comics have come and fucking gone, and you see them years later. Oh, are you still out there? And they make a little, yeah, I'm still out here, bitch, doing nothing in the sun, lifting fucking kettlebells while you're out here sweating your fucking life off. I got insurance. I got a fucking pension. I wasn't supposed to have things like that. You heard my fucking story. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I don't give a fuck if you get heat. No. And there's some solid people out here.
Oh, and it's not the people, but maybe it's because I've
met a lot of people that aren't in the entertainment business that are very solid.
Oh, yeah.
When I go to towns like Whittier and all those places to do comedy, I meet some fucking solid
people. Do they have LA pride? Like, coming from Boston and stuff, I always...
Like, when it comes to... But then again, when you go to a Laker game, it's more to be seen. That's what people understand about out here. But that's going on with the Knicks, too. God forbid you don't have the first 3 rows in the Knicks game and people can't see you on TV and you're drinking a beer and you're cheering and you're yelling. I never saw what that's all about. I'd rather stay home. I'd rather be on on a fucking couch with you smoking a joint and goofing on you and talking about stupidity, about a podcast or something. That's been the way with me constantly.
Yeah.
It's really surprising when people go, I want to go into the green room, or I want to hang with you guys after a show. Listen, since I've known Rogan, I don't do nothing. They used to go to strip clubs, and then as the years that progressed, they go to a bar, then we go back to the hotel, and then you start doing less and less things, There's no fucking party here. It's amazing how...
I said that in Tempe. We were sitting there after the show, and everyone was just quiet in the room, and like, after the show, you're like, you hungry? And Ari was like, eh. And we just all went back to our rooms. And I was like, this isn't like... I thought it was going to be a big party and go and hang out till 5 in the morning.
The party's the comedy show. Yeah. That's the fucking party. The party is doing the show and then going home. Like I've said 1,000 times, for years, I would consider those things real party. And after a comedy show, I'd go party. And guess what? By Saturday night, you're paying $22 to come see me, and I'm sucking.
Yeah.
I'm sucking because I'm tired. My fucking mind's not straight, and that's what happened to me for fucking years, man. What do you think? People just get funny? No. They put all the elements together. Maybe they were funny and they couldn't put a joke together. Maybe I could put a joke together, but the dedication of my commitment. Yeah, there's so many things. And then comes a point where one day you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you put 5 of the 7 elements together and you move a little forward.
Yeah. And
that's what you helped me do. That's what we did. You understand me? But that's the whole thing of it. And that's with boxing. That's what happened with Robbie Lawler. He'd been around for 12 fucking years, knocking motherfuckers out, getting beat up, getting submitted. Comes back to the UFC. The guy's got a fire in his eye. Okay, he just lost the last fight for a championship round. But he's 32 years old. He's not going anywhere. He learned from that fight. He learned the same way how when Johnny Hendricks lost to GSP, he learned.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm using the MMA things, but you learn. You learn as you go across. And even if you lose trying something, now you know when you attack it again, you know what to look out for.
Yeah.
There's people that try to escape from Cuba all the time. And maybe the fucking float won't last past 50 miles. Now they got to go back to the drawing board. Ooh, we got to wear more glue or more this. Or, guys, you're not going to get everything the first time.
And today, I learned today, I was thinking about it today, how big experience was. Because when I got home, I was thinking about it. I didn't really panic when this happened. The biggest thing, I complained about those jobs I had. But you learn that stuff is going to happen. And if you freak out, if you overreact, it hurts you.
On what level?
At least for me, if I overreact and I start getting worked up and I start playing with everything, I'm not going to see... Like when you lose something at your house, I always run around and you pull everything apart, you throw everything around.
You sit.
You're like...
You relax.
Relax.
You breathe and you retrace your steps and you'll find your fucking keys. It's amazing. I do it, especially even with cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
Cell phones, I walked out of cars and go, what the fuck? I left my cell phone right there. It really is amazing. So, people want to try shit and it doesn't succeed. It takes years to be a good comic. The way it takes years to be a good fighter, it takes years to be a good writer.
But that's the thing. Like, you probably, even when you were sucking 15 years ago, you learned something at one show that comes up now, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to be freaked out about
yeah,
this.
No. I remember being in Jacksonville, Florida, and going out into the audience and seeing. I used to judge the audience. I used to judge the fucking audience, and it used to judge me, and I'd bomb. So do you understand me? I'd go out there, and I go, look at all those older people with white hair. They're not going to like my material. I just lost. I just got hit with the biggest punch, which is I lost before I even went on there.
Yeah.
And then I go, I won't look at them. And it was just so many things, and I would eat shit because I wouldn't do my material. I'd speed through the joke. I wouldn't take my time. And now I see old people. You saw what happened in Tempe.
Yeah.
Those old people that were there. And I went out there and saw them, and I go, I'm going to pull it back. And I go, fuck no. I'm going to open up this motherfucking valve. Because you could always close the valve, but you can't open it once you follow what I'm saying to you? It's like acting when you go to an audition and you walk in. Sometimes if you go in and the character's loud and you go in there the first time, he's gonna get mad at the director because you're not loud enough, or you're not, your energy isn't that high.
Okay.
I can't do nothing with you. If your energy's high coming in, I could push it backwards.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you follow the state of mind we're talking about here. Late night, Church of What's Happening Now, Monday, April 21st. Where's Tony Bennett, cocksucker? There's no Tony Bennett tonight. What happened? You're slipping. This is what I'm talking about. Where is it?
It's coming. Hold on.
It's coming. It's supposed to be fucking lined up and prepared. I'm sorry we came up late today, the audio, but who the fuck? I'm not sorry. Shit happened. I hope you motherfuckers stayed up. Monday is Monday. We got till midnight to put this together. I'm still going to fire you up. You're still going to go out there on Tuesday and want to stab a motherfucker in the neck. It's the church with the Jew. Out. Where's the water? Ooh. What's up, cocksuckers? You're home. You gonna kick that up a little bit?
Okay, it's fine.
What the fuck? You got me over here like I'm deaf. You gonna eat the rest of that candy? You're gonna throw it away? You gonna leave it there for the ants?
I'll leave it. I mean,
any other shit to eat here? We got nothing to eat here. No. I'll bring you something strong Wednesday.
Oh, good.
We got Ed Suarez calling.
Nice.
He hasn't called in a while. I love Ed Suarez. 2, see how he does it. What's going on, Wade? Turn that shit off. What's going on, my brother? I already lit a candle for the old lady. I put some glasses of water out. You know me. I get it done out of the fucking way easy. What's going on with you, my brother?
Just fucking... And I know we've talked about this a lot, but the weight thing for me is it's always been there. Like, I've never...
What'd you do with that pot roast? I know you ate that. Right?
No, it's in my car.
Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah.
You might as well just dump it because your car smells.
Well, no, because... So, here's, like, it's... I think everyone has their addiction sort of thing. And for me, I think part of it's an addiction. I think most of it's laziness, honestly. But ever since, like you and Terry... It must just get to a point after a bunch of years where you don't go out as much. But ever since I started going out, like I put the weight back on, and it just... Luckily, I think the thing that some people don't have, like when you go on TV and you see like the 1,000-pound person, is luckily when I get to a certain point, I'm like, okay, I gotta bring this back. Trust me, I shouldn't let it get to this point, but it's... Luckily, I feel like I have that in my brain where I'm not. I don't think I could get to 1,000 pounds. I probably could, but it's just. So I've been working on that. I've talked to people about joining a gym. I would love to get a bike, but the people around here are crazy, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I talked to.
Start with walking. It all starts with the walk. You're not gonna go if you can't walk. Yeah. You're not gonna go to the gym. If you don't walk, you're not gonna go to the fucking gym. Just trust me. If you can't get yourself to walk, what's going to get you in a car to drive to a fucking gym to be around people who look like David and Goliath to fucking work out? Yeah. You got to start walking. And that's what I've been saying to you. I haven't been pushing you. I've been telling you go for a walk. For the last 2 months. What have I been telling you?
No, and it's...
Go for a walk.
It's the easiest thing in the world.
I don't give a fuck about what's going on or who you're busy. You get out of here at 9 o'clock, the car ain't going nowhere. walk to the 10th planet. Go read the fucking wall and walk back. That's it. This isn't hard. Today with my bad knee, I was sitting there, I wrote, I emailed, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? I sat outside, I tried to write a joke, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? I went upstairs, I took 2 fucking baby aspirins. It was about 12:15. I went downstairs, I rotated my knees in all directions. I did these hip things, I fucking stressed a little bit. And I said, fuck it. You know, the knee's going to hurt whether or not I work out or not.
Yeah.
I might as well work it out a little bit. I'm not going to jump fucking ladders and be Johnny Goomba, but I'm going to get the blood going. I did 10 sets of swings, and I did fucking 5 sets or 6 sets of clean and jerks. I got nice and sweaty. Took me 35 minutes. I picked up a 45 and a 35. I walked 50 yards and 50 yards back, and I put the weights in the car. And I was done for the day.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know what? I didn't eat sugar today. You know, I ate that fucking chocolate bar, and I ate 2 of those things with 10 calories apiece. I don't drink soda no more. I was telling my wife today, the only way not to give your child, to stop your child from drinking soda, is by not drinking soda in front of them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'll tell you what, I love North Bergen. I love where I'm from. I love a majority of the people I grew up with. But I knew something that always killed me. There's something that kills me about people. There's 2 things. I can't tolerate white trash. I can't tolerate the mindset of white trash. They grow up, they get a job, and they play the handout, and they don't even play the handout. You know, I was surrounded by white trash in North Bergen. Good people, you know, I'm not saying nothing bad about them. Good, God-fearing Americans, you know. That's not it. But I always felt that their dreams were too small. In fact, I don't think they had fucking dreams.
I see that more now that I'm out here. I didn't see it when
I
was
You see
there.
what I'm saying to you? And that bothered the fuck out of me. I call white trash to people a person who doesn't have a dream. Somebody who comes up to me and says, guess what? The Allman Brothers are at Atlantic City. You know, we're going to party out. And I look at them and I see how excited they get, and it brings pain to my heart.
Yeah.
It brings that much pain to my heart. You know, that little, like the Allman Brothers aren't even together no more like that. I think they retired, but not even like the original band.
Right.
You know, it's like you were talking to me before about Pink Floyd. Like 18 people have hit me up already and said, are you excited about Pink Floyd? You want me to tell you the truth? Not at all. I haven't even fucking thought about it. I don't give a fuck. You know, I really don't give a fuck if they put a new album out or not. Will I buy it? Who the fuck knows? I might put it on. But I don't want to see that stuff. It's like you were saying to me, do you want to go see Aerosmith and Slash at the Coliseum or whatever? Are you fucking crazy? Are you fucking crazy? You know, I saw Aerosmith when Aerosmith was Aerosmith, and they were never even Aerosmith. Because anybody who knows, when you went to see Aerosmith with the heroin, they were horrendously bad. Oh. You paid to see this band. It was a superpower. And they were horrendously bad because of the drugs. And I don't know how they are now. People, you know, nobody's going to pay $55 for a ticket. The concert sucked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's against their whole thing. They're not going to pay $100, especially now. A concert's $300. They're not going to come back and go, oh, man, that sucked. No, they're going to come back. But back to the white trash thing. I always felt they had no dreams. Like even in high school, you'd say, what's going on? Nothing, man. I can't wait for my father to get me this job in this warehouse. I'm going to get $18 an hour, and that was it. Yeah. And they don't go on vacation. They never leave New Jersey. They wouldn't even dream of fucking leaving New Jersey, that little core that they belong to. Mm-hmm. You know, they get excited about the weirdest fucking things. In my hometown, North Bergen, there's you know, at this point now, there's maybe 4 fucking bars that these young kids could go to. You know, but who gives a fuck? You're 10 minutes away from the greatest city in the world. I mean, that's the advantage of being from North Bergen, New Jersey. But you get people from North Bergen that on Friday night will go to the fucking Moose Club. And this is like a bunch of people that are all built like I am. They're as big as I am. And they go down there and they talk about high school football and blah, blah, blah. And they're stuck in that time warp.
Yeah.
Like, that's the white trash I'm talking about. That they're stuck in this fucking time warp of their mind. That there's no dreaming. There's no nothing. They just coexist with life. That works for a lot of people. That wasn't going to work for me.
Are you jealous at all? Because I have some. I never had a huge. I had a couple friends in high school, but not like a group of like 6 or 7. I'll go on Facebook now and I'll see that they're still hanging out and they're at parties, and I hated all of them. I don't want to be there, but like maybe 10% of me is jealous that they still like hang out, and most of me thinks it's stupid, but part of me is like, I was like, oh, that'd be nice to still have friends from the high school, but I talked to one kid from high school. That's it.
I'm very lonely, but I'm very lonely because I want to be. I'm very lonely at times because I want to be. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
In my mind, those kids I grew up with, that was the best it got for me. That was the best it would ever be for me, and I never tried to duplicate that. Even hanging out with comedians. If I hung out with 4 comedians, the top-notch comedians in the country, they wouldn't give me as much humor as I did when I grew up with those guys. And I know this going in.
Right.
Because they're not trying. They worked on timing. Everything was based on timing. It was life. They reacted to life, and they were very funny about doing it. I can't take back half those things. And I'm not glamorizing that life or living in the past. But those type of friends I grew up with in North, that'll never happen again. I love you, and you're a good kid.
No, I know what you're saying.
And I like the Agostino, and I just know that it was a different situation, and it required a different type of friendship. The cops are never going to come knock on your door and go, "Where's Joey?" And you're going to giggle in their face and go, "Get the fuck out of my face," and slam the door. That's never going to happen in this lifetime.
Yeah.
3 people are going to knock on your door and say, "Where's your buddy Joey Diaz? He robbed me." And you're going to go, "I haven't seen him in 2 weeks." "Fuck you. If we don't have our money, we're going to beat the fuck out of you too in 3 days. That takes a certain type of friend. Somebody would say, "Fuck you. I'll tell you where he is right now."
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are like, "You said what? You better fucking choose your words fucking wisely. You better choose your fucking words wisely. You're not going to do shit to me." Do you know? It was different. It was a different time.
Yeah.
But I'm very lonely, in that aspect, because I could go to the Hollywood Improv and goof around with a bunch of people. At the end of the week, who gives a fuck?
Right.
I could go to the Comedy Store and again, "Oh my God, that's such a funny joke." Who gives a fuck? When I get in my car, you're going to talk about how I do blow and how, whatever the fuck mind fuck you may give yourself for why not you're achieving your goals and why not you're doing what the fuck you're doing. So it was just really weird. He asked me when I found out, and I knew a year after my mother died I was getting the fuck out of there. And it wasn't because I hated the people or, like I said, white trash to me are people that you see them and you know that you're going to see them in 30 years and nothing changed. And they're happy. They're happy about it. I always wanted more.
Yeah.
I always wanted a challenge every day. I wanted to get challenged every day. When I wake up in the morning, I want a different type of day. People hit me up all the time. They hit us up all the time. "Hey, man, we have a song for the church." Guess what? Take your fucking song and shove it up your fucking ass. I don't want to hear your fucking song. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you know anything about me, I can't do the same shit twice every day. So why would I want to hear your fucking song every fucking day? I appreciate that you took the time in writing it, and I love you to death, but push your fucking magic elsewhere, cocksucker. Last night some dude was trying to get me to play Warren Zevon. Did you see that conversation?
No, you told me about it.
He's like, "Yeah, can you play? My buddy shot himself this week. Can you play Warren Zevon?" I listened to the first 3 fucking words of this song. And I got to tell you something. I would have shot myself, too. I would have shot myself in the fucking head if I had to listen to that shit.
Who's the other one you hate at the beginning of the podcast? You said if you turn him on at a party.
I fucking hate that dude. That's the dude that every party you go to, some guy's like, "Let's put on Zeppelin." And, "Oh, no, let's put on," I forget what the fuck.
I forget who it was, but you hated him too.
He sounds like he's taking the shit all the time. He's America's sweetheart. They all love him, The Gentile nation. Anybody who wears the hat with Sinatra to the side, they all fucking love that guy. Fuck you. I'll put anything on compares to that shit. Every day, that guy that sounds like he's taking a shit. Rick Ramos likes him.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, Rick Ramos used to try to turn me on to him. I heard him one day, and I called Rick. I go, "Rick, you're not fucking serious. You're not fucking serious, are you?" The fuck is that guy's name?
If someone tweet at me if you remember. I forget.
What the fuck is that guy's name? I can't stand that shit. "Yeah, my buddy died. Can you play this song out of it?" Get the fuck. No wonder he died. I fucking died too. And he's like, "Well, if you can't play that song, you can play this song." Well, I'm not going to play that fucking song either. That's
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Inject Truth.
That is the fucking worst That shit is the fucking worst garbage I have ever listened to in my life. That is the fucking worst. At least that white trash in North Bergen didn't listen to. At least the people I grew up with listened to real fucking music. Like, you weren't allowed to fake the funk. Like, you were not allowed to fake the funk at all and come up with, like, to be cute in front of some girl. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Oh, no. You know, put on Springsteen. Like, you never heard that shit because somebody would stab you in the fucking neck. There's a Sabbath house, cocksucker. Get your shit together.
Oh, my God.
But it was, it's just weird, like, to see those type of people that you just knew. Like, and I loved them. I'm not saying nothing bad about them. That was their prerogative. But they're going to settle. And I just didn't want to settle, Lee. You know?
Yeah.
Was that your mindset behind leaving, or was your mindset?
I've always wanted. It probably was, but maybe I'm not smart enough to realize it yet because it's still only a few years ago.
It moved fast, Lee.
I know, but I always thought. I'll tell you this: I always thought it'd be New York. Even after I was out here for a few months interning, and then I went back, I thought I'd be in New York. And then I had a job in L.A., and I came out, and now it's home. But I always thought it would be New York.
You know, and I always hated that. Also, that other small-minded thing about the guy. You know, like the guy, like a mayor, like the mayor in North Bergen. He's a fucking putz. You know, I know him when he was like an assistant principal at one at Lincoln School. The guy's a fucking putz. But if you go to North Bergen and the guy walks in the room, people are like, oh, I never had respect for that mindset either.
Yeah.
Fuck that motherfucker. That bitch puts his little pants on one leg at a time. That's why I can never be like, I saw Julius Erving. I saw Richard Gere when I was a kid. I didn't give a fuck. You know, I would go up to him and shake their hand. Like, I didn't say nothing to Richard Gere at a club. And Julius Erving was my fucking idol pretty much growing up. Because if your alarm goes off, they're going to be there. If you shoot somebody in the bar, they're going to be there and clean it up first. What happened here? This guy pulled the gun. Lee, you sure? Yeah. Put a fake gun in his hand. Boom, call the cops. You paid. Now what's going to happen is, but every once in a while those guys go, they retire, and you got a young guy who thinks he's slick. And he'll come in one night and throw a beat on Lee. And then say how he wants this much money. And then come in there once a month, get a couple drinks on the house, embarrass my mom, and embarrass the customers. What the fuck do? You go to the other guys and you talk to him, and you move him. You got cops like that. In the 60s and 70s, something would always happen with those fucking cops.
Really?
Yeah, when I was a kid, something would always happen with those cops because you had people that just wanted to do business. And they wanted to keep it low-key. They just wanted to put their kids through college. And they'd help you out. They really did help you out. Like I said, if somebody broke your glass, they were there first. They'd have somebody that had bought up your glass. If your alarm went off and some hump down the corner's alarm went off, they came to your alarm. Some people at home disagreeing with me now. But I'm telling you what I saw as a young man, where the etiquette was in the 60s and the 70s.
Did you ever see like a business say no? Or did your mom ever say no?
I know that there were some businesses that probably said no. I don't know what happened to them, whatever. I know that also if the ABC was out checking IDs or whatever, these city cops came in and told you their schedule. Also, if the DEA was in town shaking down Spanish bars, these city cops told you your schedule. Oh. When the DEA comes to town, they have to stay at a hotel. They don't stay they stay at a fancy hotel and they put it under the DEA credit card. People at the hotel that work at the hotel get the word out. The DEA is in town. That's it. Everybody knows to close up shop, to slow down a little bit. These cops would help you out. So if somebody was watching your bar, they'd tell you. Somebody's watching your bar. This is full-time coverage. I don't know how it is now. There's drugs involved. There's crack involved. There's weapons involved. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm away from that.
I don't know how to think because in movies those cops are always like the bad cops. They're always crooked and but the way you describe it, cops don't make that much money, and
everybody in life gets jaded at their job.
Yeah.
Some people are listening to this right now going, Joey, I would want you to hear the other side of this. No matter what type of job you do, you're a working fucking stiff till the end. I'm a working stiff. Lee would have been a working stiff. as an editor. You know, you would have got promoted finally as an editor, and you're still 28. And when do you retire?
65.
So unless you open up your own business, you're a fucking working stiff.
40 years, yeah.
So for 40 years, you're a working stiff, okay? Now, I don't know if this becomes the same for cops. I'm going to break it down for you guys and break, everybody here at some point at 38 goes, what the fuck am I doing? I just saw a bill by mistake. They pay me $15 an hour. They charge $55 for me. And I'm only getting $15. And yet, $15 goes to insurance and state taxes. But they're still getting $25 from me for labor-wise. I'm making $15 an hour, and this is what I'll do till I'm fucking 65. Whatever. Everybody gets jaded at their work. Somebody gets a promotion. You find out some idiot makes more than you. My wife is a fucking hard worker. My wife doesn't believe in theft. When she was a waitress, and she didn't want to work at the store no more. Then she went to fucking Starbucks. I would talk to my wife. My wife is such a Gentile. She doesn't believe in theft. Everything is by the fucking penny. The other day she found out that the chiropractor clipped us for $65. She goes, I read somewhere that all medical bills are off. They're all wrong. You should go through them. I was off from my insurance. She went through all my bills, found out that I was over. Called my insurance, got my insurance bumped to level 1. My wife is a fucking hawk when it comes to this. She worked. Boom, she got pregnant one day. 10 years on the job. They paid for her pregnancy. She wasn't doing nothing. She fucking was a Slim Jim Magoo. That bitch cried for a week, but she went to work after 8 weeks. She went to work and she drove home with her tits leaking, from the milk, and she'd feed Mercy, and, I would see the anguish in her face, and I pleaded with her to quit. She told me she couldn't quit. And about 3 weeks later, she came home one day, and she said that they gave her a raise. They gave her like a 1.3% raise. And she was never so embarrassed in her life that she's outworked 3 of the fucking people. And then they took the girl that's the baby's godmother, and she had been there for 10, 12 years, 15 years. And instead of hiring her, they got somebody from the outside. And she started thinking about how, these people really don't give a fuck. That's why I got into comedy and blah, blah, blah. And I was very smart, and that was part of it. I was jaded. I didn't want to work for people no more. I was sick and tired. I didn't want to be there 9 to fucking 5, And I saw my wife get jaded, and she goes, I'm quitting. Then she didn't do it for like 2 months, and then she started going back part-time. After 3 days, she came home and she goes, I can't do it no more. I hate those fucking people. Same thing happens when you're a cop. Same thing happens when you truly believe in your heart that you're helping people. You really believe in your heart that you're helping people. And all of a sudden, you help somebody, you call an ambulance, and they get up and try to shoot you. You go to these houses, these people don't give a fuck about you because you're a cop. You're always the enemy, no matter what they tell you. I grew up believing in police officers. I really did. I grew up believing, and I still do.
Even as a criminal,
Even as a criminal, I still believe in police officers. I still believe that they do good. But then again, you're going to get guys that are jaded. And then since they work long hours, they get jaded in their personal lives. Their wives leave them. Most of these cops have a few marriages. They get drunk. They don't tell. I can't come home and tell you. I come home at night. What'd you do today? I shot a movie with Dean Cain. What'd you guys do? Well, today's, we got chased by a dog. We ran up the stairs and chased the dog, and then we ran down and they chased us. Then there's another scene where he puts a string out and we both jump over and we both fall. I can't tell my wife that I saved the kid in the dumpster today, and the kid was half burnt. And also I tend to do drugs. Also, I arrest somebody one day and they have 3 baggies of meth, but I only turn in 2 of them. And I do a little bit of it. God knows what an officer's mind is thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not sticking up for the guy who shot the 12-year-old in Cleveland.
No.
I'm not sticking up for Hands Up. I'm not sticking up for Ferguson. I'm just telling you that before we accuse, we have to think of both sides about it. And I hate to get into these conversations because there'll always be critics of this, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's fucking true. I was on both sides, and I was very lucky. I never drew on a cop.
You ever take a gun out?
I was never that fucking crazy.
Right.
I didn't have that much of a death wish. For years, I thought I did, but I really didn't. And a lot of fucked up shit could happen. I drive home on the 10. I drive home on the 101, Lee. So do you. How many times you go to fucking Compton? You're a white kid in Compton, right? For a year, you drove to fucking a bad neighborhood. You're coming home one night, they say, pull this guy over. He's here for drug activity.
Yeah.
They pull you out of a fucking car. Where's the drugs? I'm not here for drugs. They smack you. When you go home, how are you going to feel about the cops?
Yeah, you're going to hate them.
You're going to still believe, not hate them, but you're going to believe in them anymore? Are you ever going to down? You know, it's just, we get jaded in so many different fucking levels, Lee.
Yeah.
So
I just had a cousin who had to quit being a social worker because he'd done it for like 2 years, and he was just like, I can't do it anymore. Every week there's a new kid who gets beat up, or it was terrible.
I mean, all you could do is live your life the right way.
Yeah.
And pray to God you never get accused of something wrongly. And pray to God you're not at the wrong place at the wrong fucking time.
Right.
You know.
So how's the movie going, by the way?
The movie is... First off, I didn't want to do this fucking movie. I had the worst attitude about it. Because what they do is they do SAG low-budget movies. They give you a little taste of the back end. And you get limited visibility. You go on ABC Family or Ion or something like that, you know. The first one, I gave my blood on this. I fell down. That was the beginnings of my pains when I started hurting my knee and shit. First one, if you watch it, I'm 400 pounds.
Oh, no.
Easy. And I'm falling on the floor. I'm running upstairs. And then, like, the second and third one, you know, we were talking about something the other day. I don't like doing a lot of shit. Once I do it a few times, I move on, you know, and I always thought I wanted to move on from this. When they called this time, I had a date in Chicago, but I had another movie that had called. And they ended up pushing that back till March or something. So I got stuck with this, you know. I didn't want to do it, and they were fucked. They've been great the whole time. One day the air conditioning broke on the trailer the second day. But besides that, this is what I do, Lee. And I enjoy breaking my year up. I'm very fortunate that I don't have to go on the road every weekend. I carry my fucking luggage and be in Philly right now, you know, or be in some place that's going to get snow and get caught there on Sunday. I've worked for that, you know, and I like that. I get lucky from time to time and somebody calls me, and for a week, I just avoid doing stand-up. I don't even think about it.
You don't miss it?
No, I went on stage Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't have to. Sure, I miss it. But it's great to know I don't have to do it. Mm-hmm. That for a week I could just go home and go to sleep and just do this movie.
Do you think maybe your stand-up would get better from like taking a little bit of time off?
Everything needs a week off.
Yeah.
Everything always could use a week off from time to time. I'm not saying all the fucking time, but everything. A hook ain't gonna fall asleep sucking your dick if she's doing a good job. You know what I'm saying? She's working that fucking jaw. Her whole head's involved. Her eyes are blinking. It's a bad situation, Lisa. Don't look at me like I'm fucked up.
Have you ever had a hooker fall asleep on you?
No, I'm just saying. What the fuck? I never had a fucking hooker fall asleep on me. No, I had one hooker experience, and that was it. I bailed on that fucking thing, hooker experience. So what are you doing Christmas then? We were going to try to do a podcast at 6 o'clock. Christmas Eve, Wednesday, just to fulfill what we do for you people. Then we started thinking about it. I got to tell you something. If we do a podcast at 6... that means it's 9 in the East Coast. I got to be honest with you people. If you guys are watching this podcast Christmas Eve at 9 o'clock on the East Coast, you got problems. It's time for you to fucking look deep within you. You know, and I know some people get lonely and some people need a laugh or whatever, but no. I don't want you people doing this. I want you people going out and enjoying touching people. Get the fuck out of the house. Get the fuck off that fucking computer. Go. Get out. Get some fucking air, you fucks. Smell something. Smell some ass. Go do something. No sitting in because I'm depressed because my grandfather got hit by a truck on this date. Who gives a fuck? Fuck grandpa. He left you to the fucking car. That's all that matters. You're alive and kicking. Get out there. Breathe. That's all I ask of you. So Lee and I decided we'll do it early. So maybe you can watch it Wednesday at lunchtime if you're on the East Coast. Sit, smoke a fucking number, maybe listen to Led Zeppelin 3. Dig what me and Lee got to say. Maybe we'll get a guest. Maybe we'll have my boy call. I got the second part. I watched a part of it. I DVR'd it and I got it at the house.
Both times I've DVR'd it. Like last time I DVR'd it was fucking women's volleyball. I almost killed somebody today. But no, is Christmas Eve important to you? Because for my entire childhood, I went to this Italian family's house for Christmas Eve, And then
when
now
you were growing up with your family, your dad, your
my
mom.
dad worked with him, and we went every year. They had a guy dressed up as Santa every year. It was great. And they had Italian food. And now Paula, her mom and her cousin, Christmas Eve is more important than Christmas Day. I don't know anything about it. So they do presents at Christmas Eve. They do tamales. I don't know. I'm Jewish. It doesn't.
What do you do when you grew? So you went over to these people's house Christmas Eve.
Every
these
year.
Italians.
Yep.
And then what do you guys do? You go home and stare at each other? There's no tree at your fucking house because you're
No,
Jewish?
I'm Jewish. We had Hanukkah.
So there's no fucking gifts when you went back to your house?
No, they all give. Oh my God, they gave us so many gifts. They're like a richer Italian family. We went home with more gifts than we got at Hanukkah sometimes. They loved us. It was great. It's a shout out if you're on the East Coast to the Lombardos. They have a nightclub and stuff. But it's actually where my bar mitzvah was. But no, it was great. I was always a little bit jealous of Christmas. Like my cousin, his ex-wife is Christian, and I went over there once when the kids were really young, and the kids fell asleep on the floor under the Christmas tree, like in the middle of opening their presents, because they just had like so many presents they just couldn't handle it. And I was a little bit jealous because my parents were well off when I was growing up. I had a bunch of presents at Hanukkah, but it's still probably 2 presents a night, maybe 3 presents a night, which adds
24
up.
fucking presents.
I don't know. It adds up to be a lot.
Jesus Christ.
No,
yeah.
but I'm just saying underneath the tree.
Those fucking Jews, you spoil each other, don't you?
Fuck yeah.
23
Well,
fucking
it's not always like PS4s. It's like a small thing. And when you're a kid,
pair of socks, a t-shirt, your favorite pajamas.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe's hat.
Yeah.
You know, maybe G.I. Joe wants a Hanukkah.
He wants a yarmulke?
Whatever the fuck he wears. You know, what does it mean? I mean, what does Christmas Eve mean?
I don't know.
What does it mean? You're raised that it means that you go somewhere with your family or good friends, just in case you don't have a family, and you get together and you maybe exchange gifts. You maybe don't. Maybe 3 years are broke. It's a tough time of year, but everybody understands. It's not about the present. It's just that feeling, you know. You're reading, you know. I've had the best Christmases when I've been broke. The best Christmas Eve.
Really?
And I've had good Christmases when I had money, or shitty ones, because you didn't do nothing with it, you know.
How long did it take you to like start celebrating after your mom passed away?
Well, I just remember coming from Cuba. I'm not going to sit here and say I remember my first Christmas. Fuck you. I remember a Christmas like after when I was like 6 or 7. I was maybe 6, and I still believed in Santa Claus. And they took me to the bar, which I never had gone to in those days a lot. I would go maybe once a month in those days. And when I got back, the gifts were under the tree. And it was They were all with me. Anybody who could have done that, it was a fucking trick. So even though my friends told me there was no Santa Claus, I was like, you guys don't know. Maybe you guys are just dumb motherfuckers.
There's a Cuban Santa Claus.
There's a Cuban Santa Claus that showed up in my house. So that was the only Christmas I really cherished, that I really believed.
You still remember it?
Yeah, I remember that particular one. Is on 205 West 88th Street. They moved the dinner table and they put the tree against that wall. And I still remember how those lights used to flash against that wall. You know, I still remember how important Christmas was to my mother. And it's also the 7th of January. That's when the 3 Kings. So on that date, you get cash. So the Cuban Christmas runs basically from the 17th to the 7th. Very ironically, you guys have heard me talk about St. Lazarus. Did I talk about this the other day? That whole Cuban thing happened on St. Lazarus' birthday.
I was so high, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, that whole Cuban thing happened on St. Lazarus' birthday. That's why it's very important. Cubans, I was goofing with John Salami the other day, my buddy. He said that he was calling people the last week or so, and he wasn't getting a response from people for business. And I said, John, you're 45 years old. Tell me that you're not that fucking stupid. Gentiles they give up. After the fucking 15th,
it's done.
White people done, and I don't blame you. You know, black people are broke. They don't give a fuck. You know, it ain't over till it's fucking over. But white people have a list. You know, Gentiles have a list, and they plan it out. They go to Nick's house, and they're going to give Nick a kiss under the fucking green tree, whatever the fuck
mistletoe.
that is. A mistletoe.
Green tree.
Whatever the fuck it is.
You should put like a little nugget.
Yeah, and they just plan all this shit out. You know, so, when you're a savage, you just go by What are we talking about anyway?
I think you're talking about like Christmases, like
so
the Cuban stuff.
So after the 15th, people dead. People are brain dead. You're not gonna answer your phone. You don't take on new projects. It's like,
No.
I need 8 days and I'm out of here. I'm just killing 8 days. I'm killing files. I'm stapling shit. I'm cleaning my desk. You know, you don't want to do nothing. So if you're really trying to, like, there's people today that are like, hey man, I'm still talking to these people about a movie. It's dead, guy. Business is dead as of last fucking Thursday or something.
Yeah.
So for Cubans, it starts the 17th. After the 17th, you can't get a Cuban to focus because the 24th is dead. They start on the 20th and they get a couple pigs and they fucking marinate them.
Oh, shit.
First, they keep them alive for like 2 days, and they feed them, and they make sure they shit everything out. They fucking feed them and make sure their insides are out. I don't know how they do it. I remember hearing about this as a child. Then they stab the little pig. Then they open them up. Then they fucking stab them more. Then they rub mojo on them every like hour on the hour for like 22 fucking hours while they're drinking, doing blow. And you have shifts. And once the 24th comes, that pig is fucking ready to go. His ears are crispy and shit. They got like 2 of them. His eyeballs are still in there. Nice. Got that little red glaze on them. They taste like a maraschino cherry and shit at one of those dive bars.
Wait, the eyeballs?
Sure.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. You
ate a pig up?
And as you bite into them, the pupil fucking shoots out like a fucking rapeseed. Tremendously.
But you don't like cotton in your mouth?
No, I don't like cotton in my mouth. I don't mind a chick pissing in my mouth either, but that's a completely different party. So, fucking, what are we talking about? I'm stoned.
Christmas? Yeah, me too.
Want to split this brownie?
I just did that with you.
Auntie Dolores is getting debt. If you live close to the Auntie Dolores store, she sent me a box, and I got to tell you something. I've been stoned for the last 3 weeks, and not just like regular stone, like deep fucking stone.
I knew today was going to be bad because you called me like 3 or 4 times, and each time your voice got a little bit quieter. The last time was, leave. We're going to fuck up tonight. Dog, I'm fucked up. I just ate 2:30.
Oh my God. I was looking to get stoned. I had to run some errands this afternoon. I knew they were going to be a pain in the fucking ass. I had to go sit and catch ear beatings from like 2 fucking people, so I knew I just had to, and I couldn't be stoned for them. I couldn't. I had to give them the respect.
I love that that's an errand to go catch an ear beating.
Oh, to drive, to know that you got to catch an ear. First, I lost my parking spot. I'm already pissed off. You understand me? I'm not bothering nobody. If I do kettlebells, all I got to do is pull them out of the trunk. I'm right there. I got to walk to my house.
Why don't you just put the kettlebells in the road? No one's going to steal kettlebells.
On what road?
Like, in your spot.
I can't do that.
You stab people's tires. What's the difference?
Yeah, but I can't put kettlebells. So people run them over. They'll ruin their insides and shit. And they'll ask whose kettlebells on. Then I lose the kettlebells. I like my kettlebells. We'll leave the kettlebells alone.
All right. I'm sorry.
Why you bother me with the fucking kettlebells? So, you have that Christmas Eve, which is family. You have Christmas Day, and you sit around and watch football and eat the leftovers. And that's it. It's considered a holiday. Between you and I, do I give a fuck? Do I? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's just a day off that you're wasting my time. I could be getting some Gita. It's all about the Benjamins. This is every Jew's at home pissed because these fucking Gentiles are sitting around eating. They could be flipping a fucking buck, but they don't say nothing. They go to Long Island. They do what the fuck they need to do. They take care. They mow the lawn. Whatever the fuck they do. But that's what it means. Is it important? Well, I think about my darkest times when I spent Christmas Eve and a friends and Christmas Day at a fucking bar watching football, making believe I was having a good time. Was I miserable? Inside, I was broken inside, I mean, but you bear with them. I've said it here before on the show. One of the best Christmases I had was 87 when I was locked up.
Oh, yeah, you were saying that with the AIDS people.
Because I thought it was going to be bad. And it turned out to be fantastic. A bunch of guys giggling, laughing. Were we smoking dope and drinking? No. We knew where we stood. We were just happy to be doing that because when you go to prison, they tell you you're not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody else is eating fucking shit in their room. Here we were in a room with fucking shrimp and meatloaf and fucking guacamole and tamales and fucking burritos,
There's too many flags in that kitchen, then.
Yeah, it's fucking tremendously. It was just too much. I remember going back to my little bunker into my room and going, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
So when you expect a bad Christmas, if you put a little effort into it, it might become a good fucking Christmas. I've had Christmases where I didn't have a dollar in my fucking pocket. I had gel for my hair, and and I went to somebody's house and played it off, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey man, we got an extra wallet for you for Christmas," and it just warms your heart and it gives you a new outlook. So don't stay in the fucking house Christmas Day. That's my whole thing. Christmas is what you make of it. If you stay in, you're going to be bummed out about Christmas.
Yeah.
Even people tell you they hate Christmas and don't call the house, and I'm going to stay alone and watch movies. You're sitting there like a fucking moron,
Yeah.
It's about people. It's about going out and mingling and saying hello. And you know what? It's that one time of the fucking year. Do it for that. Who gives a fuck about the 4th of July? People blowing firecrackers and shooting guns. Nobody's shooting guns Christmas fucking Eve,
I should have done that. I'm terrible at going out. Not Christmas, but 2 of my saddest New Year's. I'm pretty sure I was in Boston. Maybe one was out here. I know definitely one was in Boston. And I had nothing to do. Like, no friends asked me to hang out or something. And I was watching the Three Stooges marathon on AMC. Just laying on my couch on my side. I was like,
Christmas or New Year's?
New Year's.
New Year's is completely different than Christmas.
But it's like the same thing. You have to go out.
Holidays. 2 different holidays. You don't have to... maybe he's pissed, whatever, and I'm dealing with it. I go, in time he won't be pissed. So I give him a present Christmas Eve. Now, when we're there Christmas Eve, I notice my cousin, the female, is sitting with the kids outside. My cousin's okay, but I could tell there's always something on with her. She's got a fucking husband, a boyfriend that's a cop, and there's always something going on. So I finally couldn't take it anymore. I go out there, I go, Marta, I came up here to be with you, and you're sitting the fuck out here with the, come on in, talk with us. And I go, eat something. And she's like, well, I might eat with my husband, whatever, my boyfriend. I go, he ain't fucking, he's working. Eat something. We're here. We're right in front of you. It's like when you go to get a restaurant somewhere, you go to eat, pick up your order, and there's a fucking person taking your order right in front of you. Put that motherfucker on hold. There's a live body with cash in front of you.
Right.
That's the guy you talk to first. There's the guy with cash in front of you. Fuck who's on the phone. If he cared about his food, he'd get his fucking fat ass down here. The truth, okay? Fuck that motherfucker. When you're doing customer service, you deal with who's in front of you.
Right.
Fuck that homo on the fucking phone. I don't give a fuck about him and his lunch order. Probably wants hummus or some fucking fucked up shit anyway. So, that's the way I go, Marty, you're here with your fucking brothers, your dad, your mom is here, and we're all in the kitchen eating, and So she got mad at me because I said that to her. I go, fuck him. Come in here with us, And she got pissed off. I mean, we hung out for another hour and a half. I had a good time with the baby and my cousins and shit. We were playing music and the kids, and we were laughing, and my cousin's wife, and on the way out, I go, good night, and my uncle, raises his hand like, fuck you, and my cousin raises her hand like, fuck you, And, all right, I get in the car, and whatever, I called them both the next day and thanked them. Nobody called me back, and then last Thursday was the baby's birthday. I didn't say nothing. I got up the next morning, I said, my cousin wrote something on Facebook, but that was it. I called her back to thank you for acknowledging. Never called me back. I called her back that night, never called me back. I didn't even think about it until yesterday, Saturday morning, before the improv, that, oh my God, my cousin, my uncle, who's pretty tight with the baby, didn't call. And I go, you know what? I'll tell you, in my world, I might have a problem with you, Lee, but I'm still going to give Paula her Christmas present.
Right.
Whatever's going on between me and you, that we'll put that aside. It's about her. Well, I don't fucking mind not going to be friends with her because you want to be a fucking Momo. So I go, you know what, man? This guy has no idea that I've never, ever, ever, ever in my life wanted to kill somebody as bad as I wanted to kill my uncle for what he did to me in 1984. You ever watch 2 fighters fight, and then after the fight they beat the fuck out of each other and they're bleeding? Like what's his name? Kochek. Mm-hmm. He's got a glass fucking eye. You think when he sees GSP, he wants to hug him and jump up and down? Yeah, they fought, and yeah, you got to act like a fucking civilized so people don't talk about you. But deep down inside, he's got a fucking glass eye. He hates GSP. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, we never resolved that situation of what the fuck he was thinking. I was a 21-year-old kid, My circuitry was all fucked up, Lee, I had dropped my faith in society. I had dropped my faith in religion. I was done. Lee. So I go, you know what? I know who'll help me out. I know who'll be cool with me, my uncle. He was always there for me growing up. You know, I wasn't the best of person at the time, but it doesn't matter, man. Family's got to take you in, you know? He didn't pick me up at the airport. He didn't answer his phone for days. I finally had to go to the restaurant and hunt him down. I remember sleeping out in front of the restaurant, spending the whole night sitting on fucking, Western Boulevard, whatever that is, Vermont Boulevard, and all the way in hell down there. And sleeping in front of his restaurant with a duffel bag. Getting up in the morning, the restaurant, me calling his house, spending quarters. In those days, every time the answering machine picked up, you lost the 30 cents.
Oh, no.
Or the 25 cents. It was a fucking nightmare, Lee. Finally shows up like a 3 with some fucking chubby Mexican chick with a smile on his face. And he's like, oh, you showed up. Oh, well, I can't sleep, but you can't sleep in my house, but you can sleep upstairs. And he puts me in this liquor room with the smell of mice and rats and then he started telling me things that I really didn't need to know at that age, like things about my mother and drugs and how my mother got high when I was inside of her and just shit that you don't tell somebody. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about,
Right.
And telling me that I would never amount to anything because of the bloodline I came from. And I'm like, this is fucking cruel.
Are Hispanic parents a little bit more straight? I don't know if it's straightforward or cruel than like white parents are, or not. I don't want to say white, but
that world was a little bit more. They were more reality.
I've noticed it. Like it's not that they're mean. That sounds terrible, but it's like they don't pull punches. Like white parents would never say some of the stuff I've seen.
So I didn't know this till after I made up with him.
Yeah.
Because his kids told me the story. They're like, when you came to town that time, he called the house. He wasn't living with us then. But he kept calling the house, telling us not to answer the phone if you called.
Fuck.
This is my uncle. This is my blood, So I started thinking about this. I apologized to him 25 years later for my behavior. But he's never taken me aside and said, hey, man, I was out of line that weekend, too, by the things I said to you. You wouldn't amount to nothing. When I got on that plane, after we drew guns on each other, and I got on that fucking plane to Jersey, once the smoke cleared, I got furiously. I realized what it had done to me. I was furiously. I think on one of the testicle testaments, I talk about how I used to call him from prison.
Yeah.
And hang up
I'm going to kill you.
And hang up on him. This was going back till fucking I came out here. I was kind of scared. And then I looked him up once. When I first moved in with Terry had a Yellow Pages, and I looked at the bar, and I saw it was open, and I called him from Terry's phone, and the number had a machine to it, so I knew he still had the bar. And I was talking to Marilyn Martinez one day, and I go, Marilyn, where's Vermont? And she goes, it's right there in Hollywood. Why? And I go, my uncle has a bar at this number. And she goes, hold on, I'll ask David. And David, her husband, was black. He was from Crenshaw. And she goes, yeah, there's a bar down there, a Mexican bar. It's still there. I go, that's my uncle. And I remember going, you know what? If I fail here, on the way out of town, I'm going to go in and hit him with a fucking 2x4. Hit him. And I was dead serious. Lee, I was pissed. But, Lee, you get older, and you listen to people, and people always say to forgive. And it's like I forgive, but I never forgot. I never really forgot him. And sometimes I'm meeting with him, and I want to bring it up. Like, dog, what the fuck were you thinking? At that time, he had cheated on his wife with some chick, and then cheated on that chick with another chick and gotten her pregnant.
The third chick?
The third chick. And the kid's around today. And the poor kid, because of his behavior, the poor kid, you could see the kid's fucked up, too, because the mother didn't want him. The mother dropped him off one day and said, I don't want this fucking kid.
Oh, no.
Because it was like she was a jilted lover. If you're not going to be with me, I don't want this fucking kid. I want the kid if we were going to be together type deal. Can you imagine that?
No.
So that's the hell he lives in, and I explained to my wife yesterday. My wife told me, she goes, you know what, I didn't really understand the severity of what he had done to you till yesterday. It was horrid, like how I went home after 3 days. And then I tried to lash out. Yeah, I tried to lash out and rob him and take a gun out on him because I couldn't take what he was saying to me anymore.
What if he said it now? Like, what if he had said it at this age? Would it have affected you as much?
No, because I'm confident in who I am. I already know who the fuck I am. At that age, My dad had died at 3. My mom had died at 16. I had an idea. I wasn't fucking stupid, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he said things. I remember out working, and he's like, so what do you want to be, a bartender? He goes, that's as far as you'll ever get. He goes, if you're lucky, you might make a good bartender. I can't see you doing anything else. I said, well, I might want to go to school and be a lawyer. He goes, you can't be a lawyer when you're a criminal. It's not in your blood type. I mean, he just was saying, and at first I was like that girl that's insecure that talks to a pimp and the pimp tells her, and I was like, this guy's fucking crazy. He doesn't know anything about me. I'm on coke, and I had a bad run of life, and I'm going to get this, and I left there. And the whole point of getting, I think in '84, the whole point of getting out of that fucking rocket ship was to get my shit together, go put a bullet in his fucking head. That was the plan the whole time. But then do
you think any of it is he was just trying to motivate you? Like, did it
not
motivate you
at
at all?
Not
no?
at all. There's a way to motivate people. There's a way to talk to somebody with love. There's a way to talk to somebody fucked up and then reel them back with love. He just talked to me fucked up. There was no love. There was nothing, Sometimes your dad will go, Lee, you got to do this, and you feel bad. And he goes, I'm telling you this because I'm your dad. I love you. And on the way to the car, you go, you know what? I can't, because he's talking to me from the heart. This guy said nothing from the heart. The only thing he threw at me from the heart was hate and this anger and this, resentment. And then the other thing that was more of that story, my mother had given him money. This is what really shocked me, because I was fucked up on drugs. It was 5 years later, but my mother had given him a ton of money before she died. I don't know what the terms were or whatever. So I thought when I would come out of here, he'd go, hey, man, your mom gave me money before she died. She gave me $20,000. Here's $5. Get your life together. I wouldn't have complained, Lee. I wouldn't have said anything. He didn't even make that effort, So it was just a fucked up time. I got to talk about revenge. I love revenge. I've always loved. When Ari first called me with the fucking story, I thought about when I was a kid one night. This buddy of mine got hit, and the guy was a lot older than him. We were probably 16, 17, and this guy was in his 20s. I remember him from being like a freshman in high school. He was a lot older than I was, and he was always a cunt. But he dated a friend, like a girl that I knew. So, and she was young, like she was like a sophomore, and he was like a sophomore in college, probably. We were probably juniors in high school, and this guy hit a friend of mine. And I go, bro, it would be my honor. Let's get back at this guy, regardless of whatever comes back from it.
Right.
And we set up this thing, and the guy came out. And we hit him with a wiffle ball bat with rocks in it.
Oh.
We got a wiffle ball bat. We cut it. And we put rocks in it, and then you put a big rock at the end so the rocks don't come out. You throw a little dirt in that motherfucker, you have no idea how hard a wiffle ball bat hurts when it's at the rocks.
It would probably hurt empty.
It burns empty.
Yeah.
It burns empty. You get hit with a wiffle ball bat 15 times in the neck or somewhere the skin's exposed.
I just imagine it on the back.
But with rocks in it? Oh, my God. And that was my favorite revenge story.
I've always daydreamed about revenge. I don't think I ever... The only thing I ever did was this freaking asshole in high school was pushing me around. And he was younger than I was, but he was bigger because I was small. And one day he was messing with me in the gym locker room. I don't remember exactly what he was doing, but I had enough. And I was I think I was like a junior or a senior, and I just slammed him against some lockers. And we started. It was like the only real fight I've ever been in. I don't think any punches were even thrown. I just remember slamming his head against some lockers, and I got suspended for a day. But I was so. My mom wasn't even mad.
No,
I was so happy. It was the only time I ever did it.
You stuck up for yourself. It's weird that people think revenge is like, for me, revenge isn't just about that. It's like when, like, somebody will go, hey man, fucking, somebody will say to me, you know what, you should make me your partner. I don't really think Lee's a good partner for you. And I go, okay. And then the podcast will win an award. Yeah. And I'll see that person go, come here for a second. That's revenge to me.
Yeah,
like that was always my big revenge.
I feel that way now for like people who were mean to me in high school, and I go on to Facebook and they're still working at the high school job, which is fine, but a little bit I feel like, yeah,
take that, bitch.
Yeah, like a couple of them have hit me up, like they come out to LA and they're like, we should hang out. I'm like, we were never friends in high school. Why am I gonna drive all the way to Los Feliz to see you now?
and fucking no parking and all
Right.
that. You know, revenge, like for me with my ex-wife, I really wanted her, but I knew that if I stuck around and did well, that would hurt her more. You know, she wanted me to either end up dead, disappear, or go to prison, because I would never have contact with them again. But I kept out, and for me, that was my revenge, was succeeding at something. So revenge is also something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody fires you and says, you're fucking an idiot. Really? I'm going to go over to your competitor and watch what I do over there.